Because
Okay.
now we
Well,
are. We're
you know
live
what?
now.
That'd be really cool. Okay, let's introduce the show. I'm Maddie.
I'm Ryan, and welcome to Insomniacs in the Morning. And this is crazy. We just
Why? Because we haven't talked to each other in a week and a half.
no. I was actually referencing that we were able to get on here without an issue. So what we
Yeah.
learned today,
Let's not jinx that, because
what we learned today is that we can set up the stream and get all the technical difficulties done before we turn it live.
I think everyone else already knew that.
Listen,
They
you
were
and I are
probably
sometimes like
wondering.
behind on this shit, and that's exactly what happened
I
here.
kind of knew that there was a way to do that, but I thought that because we scheduled the call so far in advance, which we do, by the way, you can look at the YouTube link the day before. We set it up the night before, so that all we have to do is roll out of bed and like turn on
Well,
our
you know,
computers.
I try to get out of a day beforehand. Sometimes I remember at like
You pretty
11
much
p.m.
always do it though. And that's why I thought that it would just always start at 9 regardless of whether we were here or not, because that's kind of how it seemed like it was
That would be
working.
great if all of our cameras just turned on at 9 o'clock and we're like,
That's
nobody's
how it
there.
feels to me every week. It's like I may as well be here because like everything else is going to already be going. I don't know. That's why I did this show. And like let's talk about this because you've been telling me that you've been waking up early on all these other days
Oh
because
my
of our
God. Okay.
show.
This is inspired from the fact that we started doing this, which I think was exactly your intention because the two of us were like, could not hold a schedule. And
Oh
you were like,
god,
hey,
no.
Ryan, I think we need to do this show to kind of kick our asses into gear. And so it's worked. And basically, there's two parts here. The first part is that this inspired me to start doing this, but that also I kept on thinking about like how I was going into work and I couldn't tell what day of the week it was and like, like
Well,
I'd be
that's
like
not
it's
going to
Monday or
change if you
Tuesday.
wake
No,
up
you're
at
right.
the same time every day cuz I have that problem.
You're totally right about that. But then I was also like, you know what I kind of valued about like our teenage years and in high school and stuff is even though I hated going to school, we had to get up Monday through Friday every day, go to
Mhm.
school from like 8 o'clock, and then we'd be out at 3 o'clock, and then it was like do whatever the fuck you want. Except I what ends up having to me like in a daily schedule is that I end up like compressing everything ever into like the second half of the day. So I spend like the first entire half of the day waking up late, dragging my ass to work, and then starting at like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then like suddenly I'm like racing home and like finishing all my work, then doing all my editing, and then also like going off to the next gig and whatever appointments I have, them running around with the dog, and then suddenly it's like
Yeah.
midnight and I'm exhausted, and I'm like, okay, this I can't keep doing this because it doesn't matter that I'm up all night. Once when you hit that exhaustion point, it doesn't help. So
Yeah, I know. And
I
if you start earlier, I mean, you finish earlier. That's
right, exactly.
I
And
don't
so
know why I'm saying that like it's some sort of revelatory announcement. Did you know that if you start work earlier, it'll be over
exactly. That's so
earlier?
what's been happening is that I've been setting my alarm. I mean, it's still Ben was already making fun of me for this because I was like, I've been getting up much earlier, and like now it's great. And Ben's like 8:30 is not early, and I'm like,
It's
okay,
like
it's
really
early for
not. Like
me.
most people start work then. Like, okay, everyone hates
Anyone who
us
gets up at like 5 o'clock or six
because
o'clock for work is
we
crazy.
have creative jobs that allow us to sleep in if we want. But I mean, the other half of that is that we finish work a lot later than most other people. Like,
Yeah.
Zach works 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. a lot, which means that he gets up so early that I am not even awake to see it happen. And then, comes home really early and I'm like, well, I have 3 more hours of work to do because I work from 10 to 6. So go entertain yourself. Like that happens almost every day. And I mean,
Yeah. I
it's just
mean,
kind of how it is.
it, but it feels nice. I hate the morning part, and I still have insomnia. I barely slept last night. I never hit REM, um,
That
and
sucks.
it does. But it's like in a way, it does make me feel a lot more better about my days because I'm getting a lot more accomplished, regardless of how late or how early I get up. So
Mhm.
it's helpful, and it also makes you appreciate the times that you can sleep in better because I was like I just felt like I was getting cut off from my sleep in time every day, and I was like that's not helpful to me. Like when it's the weekend now or a day off, I can sleep in for like 3 or 4 hours and it's great. So There's some valuable lessons there.
I mean, like, for me, sleeping in is usually like the only sleep I get, because a lot of times during the week I'll just sleep really badly for whatever reason. Like, I mean, we've explained that on the show. Like, a lot of the reason why I try to sleep later is because, I don't know. I think I've always thought my circadian rhythms were kind of messed up. I've literally never been a morning person. And when I wake up early too many days in a row, I don't start to feel better. And a lot of people will be like, you'll start to feel better. And I'm like, well, you're wrong, because I've had jobs where I had to wake up really early every day. And Ryan and I were talking about this week, like jobs that we've had where we've had to do that.
And we're not talking about like what I'm doing now, which was like 8:30. It's like we're talking like 6:30.
Yeah, 6 every day, and like it didn't go well for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I physically did it. I would usually be slightly late for work and would get in trouble. I would be exhausted all day. Like it didn't. It's not possible for me. So anyway, that's why I have the job I have now. In conclusion, I'm sick, so that's why I've been coughing on the show.
Okay, so
really everything's going great for me.
Anybody who tuned into the last show, which was 2 weeks ago,
well, a week and a half ago,
I was sick and I was getting over it, and I was like, "You're gonna get sick, Maddie," and Maddie was like, "I'm gonna get sick after vacation," and that's exactly what happened.
So right. So I went to Switzerland and I skied for 3 days, and it was fucking amazing, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great.
It was so good. It was so good, and I'm really, really grateful to my dad for taking me to his home.
We haven't really talked about this. Okay, you've come back from Switzerland, and we've had many conversations. But we've been talking about the web series that we're supposed to start shooting this weekend, so we have not talked about Switzerland at all.
Start filming a web series this Saturday, but nobody's going to see it for months because we're going to take 1,000 years to edit it. So I don't know how much we want to hype that quite yet. But we are.
No, I'm just saying. Listen.
Anyway, I came back from Switzerland. I don't really have a ton to say about it because it was just really relaxing and nice. I mean,
well, what is it like out there? I've never been to Switzerland. Ben wants to go to Switzerland.
It's really great, and I think you guys would enjoy it, but you're vegetarians, so get ready to eat a lot of cheese. There's a lot of steak there because there's a lot of cows there, so there's a lot of steak and there's a lot of cheese because there's dairy farms as well.
I can live with that. I love cheese.
So like you guys would have some stuff to eat, but like we ate a lot of steak, like to a point where I was like, I'm actually tired of steak, even though this is the most high quality, amazing steak ever made. Like I still kind of want some chicken. So like on the last day we like had to go out of our way to find a restaurant that had chicken, and then like a restaurant that had fish because there's some lake fishing there as well. So
and how was skiing?
Skiing was incredible. The snow is very similar to New England snow, but there's a lot more of it because the Swiss Alps are higher, so the snow can stay frozen up there. But also it doesn't get that cold there. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily a global warming thing. I think it's actually just that like temperatures, like the humidity is kind of different there, obviously. So it wasn't super cold, but there was a lot of snow, which is the ideal.
Was it like that when you were a kid? Would it be sort of warm?
I didn't go skiing there, so I don't know. But my dad said that it was. But he also said that it used to get a lot colder when he was a kid. So I don't know. I don't know a ton about global warming, honestly, other than the fact that we're all going to die someday.
The planet's going to explode. We're going to melt into lava.
My dad was talking about how there were like some days when he was a kid when it was so cold that he wanted to die. So I mean, like I'm sure it happened. Like the Swiss Alps are probably pretty cold, you guys. But when we were there, it wasn't that cold. It was really nice. And
you got to hang out in a hotel.
I did get to hang out in a hotel. That was kind of the worst part because the internet didn't work. And
oh my God, you were just talking about how like you were looking forward to having Netflix. And
I would like to say that I was a mature adult who was okay with the fact that the internet didn't work in Switzerland. I would like to pretend that that's the person I am.
That's not who you are. Don't lie to yourself, Maddie.
And they know that I spent, I don't know, a couple hours every day trying to fuck with my internet settings. It was like a regional issue where like Wi-Fi routers work differently in Switzerland, and like I don't know, they brought.
I would have been exactly the same way.
My shitty old MacBook Air only accepts 1.5 to 2 gigahertz signals or something. Not that I did a lot of Googling on it, and like I tried to. There was actually
the Googling in your head,
like a brief shining moment when I got the internet to work, which actually then made everything worse because I was like, I got it to work for 5 minutes, so I know it's possible. awful. And then like I spent 2 hours trying to get it to work again, and it didn't. And Zach
You're
was
just as
like,
stubborn as I am. It's
"What
ridiculous.
is wrong with you? Like we could be spending time together, and
You're like freaking out
Yes.
about the internet. It's like Zach is probably like, we could go outside and explore Switzerland. You're like, I can't get into my email right now.
Well, we could
So-
have really gone outside. I mean, that was kind of the other problem, was that like we were really in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and like there weren't really sidewalks. Like we couldn't really just go outside and walk around because there was also snow on the ground. So like it was
I
really
think
icy.
if
Like,
you were
that wasn't the issue. So it was more like I could have been lying in bed with my boyfriend reading a book and like just having a nice time.
It
Like,
also seems like if you were the type of person who enjoyed going to a bar and drinking and shooting the shit for hours, which you're not.
I mean,
But if you were, I think that would be a good way to kill time up there, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's probably what the locals do.
I was gonna say that's probably what like normal people do.
It is, but like what my parents did was go back to the room and watch Netflix together. And I because my mom's computer worked because it was newer than mine. And so like I was kind of like, well, what are we supposed to do? How about if I spend 2 hours trying to get it to work?
Was there a TV at least? Like, you know.
There was, and we like watched some channels that were in French and German. That was fun.
I would have loved that.
It was
I would
actually,
have been like,
it was fine. I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, we were so tired after skiing that I barely had like an hour every evening to fuck around with the internet before it was time to go to bed anyway. So.
oh my God. You should have, I mean, you need some games that you can just keep on your computer that are not web-based, so like not Steam type of stuff.
Yeah,
but
I mean, like, I have that stuff. Honestly, Ryan, like, you're listing a lot of stuff that I should have done, and I'm really embarrassed to tell you that I didn't do any of that. I'm sorry, okay?
well, if only you could have gotten
on
online and messaged me, I would have told you what to do.
I didn't know. Well, I could, because I had, like, data roaming plan.
No, I know. You messaged me at one point. You're like, I can only talk for 5 minutes. And I was like, okay.
I don't even know what I said.
I don't either. I don't know why you
It was
messaged
probably
me.
something about Gino. I was like, Ryan, we need to buy these 5
Oh, no, it
props."
was that. You messaged me and you were like, should we get these lab coats or these ones? And I was like, aren't you skiing? Like, what?
It's because even when I'm on vacation, I cannot stop thinking about either work or a project we're doing.
Oh my God, that was so funny though.
I can't. My brain is always going.
Me too.
Always.
Usually when I'm in that type of scenario, I end up being inspirational. I have to start writing down things I want to do when I get back, which is ironically the same way my boss works too. It's like we can't shut it off either. So I totally get it. But
I'm excited about filming Gino. I really hope
too.
that we manage to film all the scenes, and that
I really hope so too, because we've been trying to do this for years.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard. It's really hard.
It is
to film,
hard
like,
when you
a
have
20-minute
no
comedy
budget.
pilot.
Like, you know,
We
like
have
we're
no money.
literally doing this out of our pockets, and we're not crowdfunding or kickstarting or paid.
Well, we
there's
don't
no
want to
patrons,
do
so
something like that when we don't have anything to show.
yeah, exactly. So we're doing it from scratch on our own.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything nearly as interesting as you skiing. I think the only thing that I really did was work and go to the casino a lot, which I don't really gamble, but
Yeah.
at the casino there's a lot of other things you can do, and
Yeah, you can have food and drink. Those
right.
are the 2 other things.
well, there's shopping, there's free shows, there's you know,
comedy shows. I shouldn't. You're right.
well,
You're right. I
although
forgot about that.
I go to Mohegan Sun mostly, which is in Connecticut, and they do free shows at their Wolf Den venue, which is like sort of in the middle of the casino and like surrounded by bars. And it's, you know, you can either watch it from the bar or wait to get seats, but they're free seats. And they had 80s night a couple weeks ago. So they actually had Berlin there. And I was going to the casino to see Berlin because I really, really love that band and Top Gun and all that stuff. And I had missed them. So then I ended up seeing Lisa instead, which I don't know a lot of her stuff, but they did a fun performance anyway. And then I went back for my friend's birthday. So, you know, it's a good time. You would probably like the casino aspect in the sense that it's a place that never shuts down. It's open 24 hours. So it doesn't matter if it's 3 a.m. There's hundreds of people just walking around. The stores are still open.
That's fun.
There's still food being served. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's great for people like us who don't sleep.
Yeah.
And like when you're in there, you don't even really know what time it is. And so like, that's kind of why I like going to the casinos, because I kind of feel like I'm like surrounded by people that are similar, like to me, where we're like people who aren't gonna sleep anyway. So
People
it's
who are
like,
on a lot of cocaine. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
That's not us.
yeah, obviously. I mean, there probably are. I mean, who knows what's going on, you
But you're
know?
like, wow, these people are just as energetic and sleepless as I am. I understand how they're doing it. It must be some sort
Well, addiction, because they're definitely sitting there at the slots being like, oh, I'm gonna like put like 5 quarters in here. There's just maybe I'll win this time, maybe not. It's like
You're
it's
right.
I mean it
Yeah,
is sort of
that
sad
part
in
is,
that
I try
aspect.
not to spend too much time hanging around the actual gambling parts, but like you've had birthday parties at the casino that have been pretty fun. There's
Yeah,
like
well,
other
there's other
places
plans
we
to do.
could
There's,
go.
like as I said, there's shopping, food, there's arcades, there's
Yeah,
you
we've
know,
gone
like
to aforementioned places before.
yeah, there's bowling at the other
It's
casino, you
like
know.
a mall that's just always open, and then there's like a really depressing other part of the mall that you don't have to go to. It's fun. So if you like malls, and God, Ryan loves malls, you guys.
Wait, this is like the strangest comparison. Like
It's not that. It's basically a mall, though. I don't know. It's like a mall that subsists and continues to be mall-like because it's supported by gambling.
mhm. Well, it's still
Brings
fun.
a ton of money, enough money to allow said mall to be open 24 hours a day and hopping, and paying all the employees. I mean, that's how they do that, I assume.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they
And
do
like,
create a lot of jobs, so there's
yeah,
that.
and like they book really cool comedy gigs. I mean, I don't know. Casinos are one of those things where I'm like, this seems kind of immoral, like emotionally immoral, but
what can you do?
job creation is good.
That's pretty much the only thing I've done besides I've been trying to catch up because when I was sick, it was like because I just finished doing that event
I'm
and
in that same spot as you where I'm sick now, so I'm like, I'm just not gonna do anything.
oh my God,
which
it's
is a
so bad
great
though
way
because
to
now
fall off the wagon of working out, which is also exactly what you said would happen.
yep. But you can get right back onto it because I've actually been working out a lot since I got better. So, but the
Okay.
problem is that now I'm just behind and everything. So, you know, I'm booking gigs and stuff and I just haven't edited anything and it's terrible. There's nothing on Atomic Blue. And I'm just like, well, what can you do?
I think
So
you edited something yesterday. You put together like a little 5-minute or 3-minute clip of our Powerpuff Girls segment from last
I
time.
did. So for anybody that likes this show or wants just the brief part that's interesting, just go to Atomic Blue Productions, and it's usually about 5 minutes of our hour and a half of us talking about nothing. So
We have like 3 to 5 minutes of solid gold that Ryan helpfully edits together into a video, and the rest of it is us talking about ourselves. So, woo! All right. So,
we have commentary from Mary Ellen here to turn you up a little bit. So I got to turn up your mic.
oh well, okay. I mean, I can also turn up on my end.
Okay, well I just turned on mine. And you just got significantly louder.
Okay. Am I too loud now?
No, I'm just gonna let her know. Okay. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Oh
yeah,
my
turn
goodness.
up me coughing.
Yeah, that's super hot. That's what I want.
Are we gonna talk about anything on this show?
I don't know. Maybe not.
I have to go get my weights if we're gonna do workout tips. Are we?
Yeah. Well, of course. I mean, that's part of the show. We can't just like glaze over that.
I don't know. Listen, maybe we'll skip it this week. Maybe we just won't work out.
I've got my weights, but
Well, here's a tip that you can do if you didn't have weights. If you're me and you left your weights kind of far away before the show.
Where's far away? Like on the other side of the room? Like...
Yeah, I would have to unplug my headphones.
Oh.
Or at least not unplug them, take them out. But so you can actually do a push-up against the wall. Have you ever done this before?
You always ask me, and then I'm like, I have no idea. And then you describe it. I'm like, yes. So describe it.
Okay. So you'd put your hands on the wall. I've got a wall right next to me.
Okay, podcast listeners, this is super interesting. I'm just Maddy pushing against a wall right now. The only way I can describe it. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's literally just, I have not done this. It's just a push-up, except you're standing up and you're doing it against the wall.
Yeah.
You can't see it, Maddy.
So you can't see me? You can see
me.
No,
we can see it, but you can't see that your back muscles look fucking epic right now.
Yeah, that's great. You know why? Because I do a lot of push-ups. So if you're like me and you have trouble doing a normal push-up, which I still do in spite of trying really hard for a really long time, because building upper body strength is hard if you have the chemical makeup that I do. So I do push-ups from my knees, which are stupidly called lady push-ups because fuck the system. But also you can do push-ups against the wall, and you can do them while standing on your tiptoes if you want, and you can do diamond push-ups. You can do all the different kinds of push-ups, and it's a little bit easier than doing push-ups from your knees. So if doing push-ups from your knees is also too hard for you, then just do some from the wall. And it's also something that you could do if you're like at work in an office job and you can like get up from time to time and just like do a little workout.
That's important. Anything you can do in between your work at an office job is like really great for you. And I keep on trying to advocate that. Like,
it's hard and it's annoying, and office jobs are the worst.
I do a lot of push-ups.
All of you listening at your jobs right now.
Yeah, Mary Ellen. Wink.
Mary Ellen, go do some push-ups. She probably can. I think she works in like a more crowded office.
Oh, speaking of Mary Ellen, she's actually started another show that she's doing with her friend. It's a podcast. It's a supernatural podcast where they kind of go back and they review it episode per episode, like breaking it down to the actual script.
Okay, I'm totally gonna check this out.
I have the pilot because she sent it to us to kind of be like, what do you think? And I was like, this is hilarious. I mean, Mary Ellen's hilarious anyway, but it's her and her friend Gabe, and I don't actually know where they're going to post it yet. I guess when they do have it posted, we can link it in here, but I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. Yay, Mary Ellen doing things.
Yay! That's her plug for keeping us in line and telling us when we can't be heard or when we're boring.
We should start crediting Mary Ellen as like the technical director of this show.
I know, like Mary Ellen and Skye do the most work.
Put it on her resume. Skye is like the entertainment director or something. Okay, so wait, what's your workout tip?
This is actually to follow up what you told me 2 weeks ago. But so you were telling me about how you could do like cardio, music video type of stuff. Like, you know, for Zumba or whatever. And I was like, oh, sure, I'll try that. So first I did Zumba, which I've done before, and I put on my own music, and I was like, Maddie's right. This is great. I can dance and I can like listen to my retro music. Yay.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was trying to find something that would work best for me. And what I found that I really liked the most out of all those videos is kickboxing.
Oh, yeah. Which one do you like?
What do you mean, which one do I like?
Like, do you have a specific kickboxing video?
Oh, not yet, because I mean, I just really started doing this like a few days ago, so I'm just kind of exploring. And of course, since we're using videos, I'm sure I'm not doing it completely correctly because I don't have like an instructor, any room to tell me exactly the right way to do it. But after doing it for a little while, I'm like, this would be a class that I would be willing to invest in because it's a lot of fun. And for me, it's you're not actually fighting. There's no actual like fighting going on, but you can certainly pretend.
Is sort of like a combination of actual fighting moves that you could use, but also sort of rhythmic dance stuff. Like having taken karate, whenever I do kickboxing, I'm like, this is really silly, but it's fine. I mean, it's a great workout, and I've definitely used kickboxing videos. I asked because I've had trouble finding kickboxing videos that are like enough of a workout. Like a lot of the ones that I find don't have enough going on in them. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I mean, and that's why I'm like, a class would be really fun.
Yeah.
But what I do like about it is I can turn on my video game music and just pretend I'm in Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or something, and I'm like,
amazing.
Yeah, so you know, like I think I'm Sub-Zero right now, whatever, Sonya Blade. So you know, you know, that's why I like doing it. And your recommendation was great, and I think I found a niche in that category that I like and wanted to share with you guys.
Yeah,
by the way,
everybody should use their own music when they work out.
Yeah, it really changes the experience.
Changes everything.
It's like life changing.
Videos to your own music. Mute the workout video. Use your own music. Just, I can't stress that enough because that seriously changed my whole experience when I started doing that.
Mary Ellen just sent me a message and said the title of her show is Supernatural. I hardly know her.
That's so dumb and so good. I love Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen is like my favorite person. Sorry, Maddy.
Has like no Twitter followers, and I don't really wish Twitter followers upon anyone because having lots of Twitter followers is actually the worst. But Mary Ellen's really great, so I also kind of want more people to know she exists.
Hey, and March she's coming down for a week or so because she's taking vacation, and I mean we'll be doing like fun stuff like we normally do, but we probably should do more
on this show.
I mean, we should do that. I didn't even think about that. I was thinking about Team Sexy Bane. Guys, would you like to see Mary Ellen on a show?
The show that you do with Mary Ellen, which is something that you guys should clearly do. And I'm like, well, is she going to be on our show? All right.
Well,
anyway,
we still have to figure out how to do guests on this show, but that's a whole nother conversation that we can have over like vodka.
I don't think we can do it because we already spend too much time talking about ourselves. I don't know that we're able to talk to a guest. We've only spent like 30 minutes talking about ourselves on this show so far, Ryan.
That's because we're pretty great. But you know what else we can talk about? The morning news. Let's talk about Deadpool because I have a lot of thoughts on this. And I actually read your article that you wrote about.
Did you like it?
I did. You offered a whole nother perspective that I wasn't even thinking about. I had other issues with the movie.
What were your issues with the movie? I had many issues with the movie. I should clarify, like, that article was me talking about, like, one thing. And while I was writing it, I was like, oh, no, I don't have room to talk about, like, the hundreds of other complaints.
You know, okay, the thing is that I'm not going to say it's a bad movie because it's not. It's a fun movie.
I did tell you to go, so I feel like I have personal responsibility here. I was like, you should go. I think you'll think it's funny.
Right. And it is. And it's like it sets in the X-Men universe. So how can I not like it? But, you know, I mean, it's just a turn your brain off movie because, like,
oh, yeah, in every sense.
It's like, I don't know how to put it. Deadpool, it's a very bizarre version of him. And they did some things right where they like kept it so that he was talking to the audience and like breaking the third wall all the time, which is great. And
the fourth wall.
Sorry. The 18th wall.
He also broke the third wall and the second wall and the first wall.
He just kept knocking those walls down. But my problem isn't even like with the script because I thought the script was actually pretty decent. Like a lot of the writing was good.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the jokes actually. I talked about the ones I didn't like in the article, but there were some good ones.
And I liked the actors, so I'm like, so what's the problem here? It's just that it just came together in the weirdest fucking way possible, and like they do that whole Arrow thing where they flash back and forth to the beginning, and you know. Really, they spent more time in the flashbacks than they did as him as Deadpool, but of course they started him as Deadpool.
It was an origin story, which that's so hard to do well.
Yeah, and the people were there for Deadpool.
You have to do that because even though a lot of people that were there theoretically for Deadpool, a lot of people still don't actually know that much about Deadpool. And I don't want to be like that asshole.
No.
Because I don't think this matters. Like, it literally doesn't matter if you haven't read all the Deadpool comics. It doesn't matter. And you probably shouldn't. A lot of them are bad. But, like, but a lot of people haven't. Like, a lot of people's association with Deadpool is, like, seeing him on some of the Marvel animated shows. Like, he's had some cameos in, like, the Wolverine animated thing. And, like, he's had some occasional cameos elsewhere. And, like, he's been in Marvel vs. Capcom, and he has a lot of funny lines in that. Like, people know him from other things.
They just think he's, like, a comedian, and it's like, no, he's actually a really tragic hero.
Yeah.
Which does not come across in this film at all.
There's some sad scenes. And, like, honestly, those were my favorite, which I talked about in the article.
Yeah,
like there's some scenes
he's going to see Vanessa. All right, first of all, let's clarify. Anybody that's listening to this and has not seen Deadpool, you can mute us for the next 5 minutes because we're going to spoil it.
Now, I mean, I think we just got done with all the part of the discussion of Deadpool that is spoiler-free. I'll say one more thing that's spoiler-free, which is I think the problem that you're having with it is very similar to the one I'm having with it, which is that the structure of the movie didn't feel like a Deadpool movie. Like, individual pieces of it kind of were like, yeah, this is what Deadpool would do, but the overall structure of the movie is actually like a by-the-numbers revenge fantasy romantic comedy movie. Like, there's nothing subverted structurally. And I was like really weirded out that was the movie that it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, I
agree.
This is literally like hero's fucking journey. Like this is there's nothing subverted plot wise here at all,
Right.
which is weird because everything else about the movie was like, it's crazy how we're totally changing up the superhero genre, and I'm like, this is like the plot of Iron Man, guys.
It's literally the plot of like Spider-Man. Okay, like it's the only difference is that this doesn't even work. Is that when Wade gets his mutation and he heals it, like makes him horribly disfigured, which they sort of did, and they had lines in the movie like Weasel was calling him like the Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And in the comics he does look Freddy Krueger, but he did not look like that in this movie. So the writers had written lines for him where they're like talking about how ugly he is, but he's really like, he's still kind of hot. Like he's still Ryan Reynolds.
Made him a lot uglier. He's actually significantly uglier
like
in the comics.
Disgusting
I mean, whatever
in the
your
comics.
definition of ugly is, he has like tumors, because in the comics it's the effects of cancer.
Right.
A lot of times, like he'll have like tumors all over his face, so he'll have sort of like bumps. But I think they didn't really want to do that. I mean, I was actually impressed by the fact that they made him ugly at all.
I know.
Like I was worried when this movie was first announced. I was like, they're going to give him like one facial scar and be like, oh, Ryan Reynolds. Oh, he's so unattractive.
That is essentially sort of what did happen, though, because it's like they put all this crap on Ryan Reynolds' face, and then he's like,
kind of split the difference on that. Like they made him ugly enough that he doesn't quite look like Ryan Reynolds anymore, but he also doesn't look that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like he doesn't, like they went halfway.
Right. So they kind of didn't do that. They gave him a happy ending, which makes no sense for that character.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
They literally have him get back together with Vanessa,
who dies in the comic books.
But in this, she does not die. She survives. He kisses her, and then the credits roll. And I was like, are you serious right now? Like you're just going to have Deadpool get the girl, kiss her, and then have the credits roll? Like, do you know what character
it was like a
is?
Disney ending, and I was like, what is happening right now?
There was so much Disney stuff at the end. Like, they had her, like, in this glass box that looked like Snow White. I was like, is she going to be asleep, and he's going to, like, lift the lid and kiss her? Like, is that the joke they're going for? And then, like, total missed opportunity there, if you ask me. But, like that's the kind of jokes I was expecting. And I was also expecting at the end, like, she would break up with him, or, like, she would be like, you know, it's not working out.
I was
I knew that they weren't going to kill her because I asked a friend of mine to spoil that for me ahead of time because I was worried. I was like, I'm not going to enjoy this movie if Vanessa dies. Like I know myself and I'm going to be really annoyed because like
it's like either she was going to die or she's going to be like, no, you're fucking ugly, and like leave, like,
which
you know.
Would also not quite be in character. I thought it would be funnier if she was just like, I started dating somebody else and like left because he left her for 2 years.
Or she's like, I also became a mutant after you left, and now I'm copycat.
Well, by the way, she is supposed to be copycat, but they couldn't get the rights to that.
Oh my god, there's so many issues with that, but
which I wish they had lampshaded, because they did lampshade some of the other stuff in the movie that they couldn't get rights to.
Right.
Like those were the jokes that I really liked, actually, where like Deadpool goes to Xavier's mansion and they only show like one tiny square foot of the mansion, and then Deadpool's like, too bad we can only afford 2 X-Men, and I was like, this is great. Because
all the jokes that they made about both the X-Men comics and the X-Men movies were probably the best parts of the whole movie. Like there was a line in there where Negasonic Teenage Warhead walks out and she's like, they're talking about the mansion, and she's like, you mean the place that blows up and rebuilds itself every 5 months? And I could not stop laughing at that.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, like, there's also just stupid pop culture references, which I realize a lot of other people hate, but like Deadpool calling her Ripley from Alien made me laugh so hard.
I mean, same. And that's fine with me because that's sort of on par for Deadpool's character.
And also because then her comeback was like, you are so old. And I was like, yes, I too am old. And I too get this reference. And she is a teenager who would not.
Oh my God.
It was amazing.
I know.
I mean, her lines. I loved her lines.
That's why I'm like, sort of like the writing was good, but it also like was told in like this totally bizarre way. They also completely glazed over the fact that after all this, Wade Wilson goes crazy, and he's like still pretty sane.
They purposefully took that out because it makes no fucking sense in the comics.
I know, but like it sort of is like what his character is.
There's not a good way to fix that. Like there's actually like a lot of inherent problems in the comics that I think they're struggling with. Mm-hmm. Where like they're like, okay, well, the source material doesn't really make sense, and it like includes a lot of stuff that's contradictory because like there were multiple writers, and like interpretations of like Deadpool's quote unquote craziness have been different like writer to writer. Like, what does he have? Like,
Right.
no one, do you know what I mean? And like, what symptoms should he have? Like, no one knows. So like, it just suits whatever writer wants to write him, which is always a really bad way to write a character.
I mean,
but it's
that's
Deadpool,
a good point.
So who the fuck cares? I actually liked that they took that out, because I was like, of all the characterizations of Deadpool, like the fact that he's supposedly crazy, I didn't like that. I like it better when he's not crazy, but he's like the only sane one, because he's the only comic book character that realizes he's in a comic, and like that makes him seem crazy to everyone else. But actually, he's not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I think that
interpretation
of him is interesting.
You've convinced me. I didn't like that they kind of erased his pansexuality, though.
Me
that
too.
was a little weird.
I was pissed about that, which is mostly what my article was about.
And like, it's weird because I feel like Ryan Reynolds was going for that, but then for whatever reason that didn't happen for whatever reason in the movie. So like whoever was directing it was like, oh, whatever, no, we'll just get rid of that. I don't know
what happened with it.
So
I think maybe the problem is that like nobody writing the movie was gay, and like I don't know that for sure. But I feel like if there had been a gay person there, they would have been like, hey, so some of these jokes don't make sense for a character who's pansexual to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, especially, like I wrote about this in the article, but like the part where Deadpool, well, actually, he's still Wade Wilson at that point. Not that he's not Wade the whole time, but you know what I mean. Wade orders this comedy drink in the bar called a blowjob, and it's like Kahlua and whipped cream or whatever. And like he orders it to like tease his friend who's like, oh no, I'm uncomfortable that you're making a gay joke, and like whatever, that's how men act. But then he sends it to these two other homophobic guys to like start a fight between them. And like, if you're a guy who's pansexual and you do that, like there would be an opportunity for him to make a joke there, being like, can you believe that these guys can't handle a blowjob, like, or like something like the fact that they're homophobic, like he should be making fun of them for being homophobic. Do you know what I mean? And like I would have liked to see that happen. Like I would have liked him to be like, it's weird that I'm the only queer person in this bar and I have to put up with it, and like I'm closeted or not, but like, is he? And they literally don't tell you. And
I know
that bothered me because I wanted it to actually be spelled out. Like, is he closeted? Does his bartender friend know that he is queer? Like, I wanted everything to be said, but they didn't tell you. They just don't tell you because they don't want to.
It's almost like that they were setting it up for that, and then they just like didn't know how to deliver that. I mean, I don't know. It's like
that scene in particular, I was like, okay, so this is going to be a joke about his pansexuality.
See, now this is what I'm wondering, where like, are we going to get like an extended cut like we did with like Wolverine and Days of Future Past?
Actually, probably, yeah.
Where like they cut that kind of stuff out. The problem is with the movies is that they try to get it down to like under 2 hours usually. And when they do that, they're like, where are we going to cut stuff that we really don't need? And unfortunately, in editing, you really do have to cut like a lot of important like details like that. So like, for example,
jokes will end up getting
okay, so Days of Future Past, it's a great movie, but it makes so much more sense in the road cut than it does anywhere else. Like, it like really explains where all those characters even came from, and I'm like, it's really too bad that we have to cut out like half an hour of the movie. And so like jokes like that probably got cut out because they're probably like, well, we don't want to like upset anybody that's gay. And it's like,
well, I think
but now they still managed to anyway.
Upset people that weren't gay. Like that was more the impression that I got, where like, I don't know, like somebody on Twitter was like, it felt like they were pandering to the Reddit audience. And I was like, I actually didn't think they were doing that, but I did feel like they were intentionally trying to not alienate the Reddit audience. Do you know what I mean? Like, it felt like they were like, okay, so Deadpool's kind of gay, but like, don't worry about it. Like, don't feel uncomfortable about it. Do you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. There were a lot of moments where they would kind of hint at the fact that he's gay, but then like immediately back off from it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
It felt like he's gay, but he's not too gay. Like that shit really bothered me. I was like, just do it. Just fucking do this.
Yeah, seriously.
The comics do the same thing though. Like Deadpool's dated a lot of women. That's it. You know, like, doesn't this stuff bother you too? I don't know. It bothers me.
It does bother me, but it's also like
you have Iceman now though, so you don't care anymore.
Well, I mean that's been translated to screen. Although Sean Ashmore is all for it. He's like we should out Bobby in the movie universe too, and it's like okay,
well, Sean Ashmore, I don't know if that's gonna happen at this point.
And that's kind of like how Ryan Reynolds was. I felt like building up to this movie because in his commercials, he was doing this whole like, hey, gentlemen thing. And it's like, then it didn't happen in the movie. And I was like, what the hell? So
I think maybe that's because he was mad that it got cut from the movie.
Maybe. Who knows? We don't actually know the details. I'm sure it's something that's going to come up.
I would love to know more. I would love to have a sit-down chat with Ryan Reynolds.
Like you did with Hugh Jackman.
I know. Oh my God. Okay, so there's this interview between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and it's adorable. And Ryan and I have a crush on them both and want them to be married, even though that would never happen. But Wolverine / Deadpool forever. So we'll link to this interview. It's really stupid.
It's really stupid. There's no way to describe it other than like they're just I mean,
honestly, it's Ryan Reynolds crashing a press junket that Hugh Jackman is doing for like a serious drama movie that he's in. And Ryan Reynolds just shows up with a bunch of joke questions. And it's really good because Hugh Jackman like clearly doesn't know what to do, but he like is Ryan's friend and is just like, okay, dude. Like, it's really cute.
It's really funny.
Cute, and it made me sad that Wolverine didn't have a cameo in Deadpool.
I know. I was expecting it, to be honest.
So
that would have made sense. Okay, wait.
Had cameos and so much other stuff.
We need to wrap up on Deadpool, and there's 2 more things I want to say.
I have like 12 more things to say about Deadpool.
I know, right? Same. Okay. The first thing is that I did want to say that Colossus was great in this movie. Yeah, Colossus was perfect in every way. He was a Boy Scout, and
he was so good. And like, I loved everything about him. I don't even really want to spoil that aspect of it because I'm hoping that people will still go.
No, and actually
didn't spoil anything major. Honestly.
No, we didn't. And Ben actually just messaged me and he said the best part is Colossus responding to the mansion blowing up is that he goes, it builds character.
Literally.
But so I want to talk about this because they have their final battle on top of a helicarrier, which is currently owned by the Marvel like cinematic universe properties. And so now I'm curious why that happened. Like they literally have a battle on a helicarrier, which is an Avengers thing. And what we're getting coming up is Civil War and Captain America, which is about registering people with superpowers. And then the movie that comes out directly after that, like 2 weeks after that, is X-Men Apocalypse. And I'm like, I don't want to
rain on your parade too much.
I know. I still have hope.
I'm pretty sure the reason why that happened is because Deadpool's budget apparently got slashed by like $7 million right before they filmed that final fight scene. So that's why Deadpool forgot his guns. They took out all of the gunplay stuff. Like, I assume they were planning on shooting more gunplay scenes. Like in the very first scene of the movie, there's a lot of slow-mo shooting, and it's very, very cool. It looks very cool, but it's very expensive to do that. Well, to edit that and like do the.
They're probably regretting that now because it broke all the other X-Men movie records.
Yeah. So anyway, they cut the budget for that last scene, so Deadpool forgets his gun, so he has to just use his katana, which is obviously it's easier to choreograph fights with just that. And then they probably just used a set they already had access to at Marvel Studios.
That's probably true.
They were probably like, well, we've got the helicarrier, that would be funny to use, right? Like that. I think that was about as much thought as was put into this. I don't know that. I'm just predicting that. But also, you never know. Like, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds seems like a smart dude. Like, maybe he'll try to tie it in the future Deadpool movie. Because they're going to make an X-Force movie, which is amazing. I can't not be excited about that.
Well, me too, because I love the X-Force.
Stupid is that even though I have a lot of complaints about Deadpool, I'm still like,
if they make the X-Force movie, it's going to be
an X-Force movie.
Yeah, if they do an X-Force movie, it's specifically going to be characters we love, like Deadpool and Cable and Domino and X-23. X-23, hello.
Yes.
Wolverine.
I want Wolverine. I want X-23. I want the Hope storyline, honestly, but I don't know if they're going to do that.
They probably won't do that because unless they're going to tie it into the Avengers, because that's the only way that even works.
The storyline is so funny for Deadpool, though, because he travels in time and he gets stuck in a room for like ever by himself, and it's amazing. It's so good. I loved that comment.
Oh my god. All right, we have
Deadpool entertaining himself. For like
I mean,
ages.
okay.
Oh my god, I'm like cry laughing at a comic that I read years ago. Okay, Maddy, calm the fuck down.
All right, we have 2 more subjects before we have to get to like a lot of stuff, and it's already 9:50. So
we're actually making pretty good time by our standards.
I mean, that's probably true. So everyone go see Deadpool. Tell us what you think, and then leave it in the comments. Or if you've already seen it, let us know what you think. That we could go on and talk about this for a long time. We could have a Deadpool exclusive if we want.
I'm glad that we actually had Deadpool to talk about, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have had like anything for the show. This was really slow news week, guys.
We do have Street Fighter V, which came out.
We do, but I
have not played any of it.
I've played it some, but there've been a lot of connectivity issues with Street Fighter V, and like the joke about it is like, it's gonna be great when the game is done. Like, like that's like the joke everybody's saying, and like it's kind of true. So maybe we'll do another episode about Street Fighter V once.
That's probably fair.
Better.
And once when I play it too, I usually wait about a month before I buy any of the Street Fighter games, because they always go down in price so fast. Yeah. Like, because they mass produce it, and then then nobody's buying it, and they're like, better drop it to $30.
I mean, honestly, you should wait anyway.
I mean, yeah, it sounds like you can't go online with it. So
I played through the Cammy campaign. A lot of people are shipping Cammy and Junie, but I don't
because
know.
Somebody said that they were like a legitimate couple in the
Somebody said that Cammy is dating one of the other dolls,
but it turns out that's not true, which is disappointing.
I mean, it could be is the answer. Like, there's nothing to confirm or deny that in the campaign.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would love that. Like, Cammy is my favorite of all of them. Like, I love.
And it would be cool, but it's also like they didn't say that. Like I'm not ready to celebrate something that isn't in there. Like, I'm happy to write a fan fiction about it.
Well, if they let Cammy be gay, if Capcom lets Cammy be gay, then they need to let Chris Redfield be gay. The end.
Okay, Ryan. And then they need to let Chris Redfield marry you.
Wesker.
Let him.
Wesker needs to come back from the dead.
Chris Redfield back for way too long. I like how you're using the word let, like as though like all these characters are like, Capcom, just let me come out of the closet. And they're like, no, Chris Redfield, you have to stay in there.
And he just goes back crying.
Fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is exactly what happens at the Capcom offices. That's exactly what just day-to-day work is like there.
They just all dress up as the characters too, I'm sure.
They probably do. Actually,
that's probably like legitimate.
The Street Fighter V offices are like the guy who is into Blanca like carries a Blanca action figure around with him everywhere and like does.
That's exactly what I would do if I worked there.
No, I know. It's cute. It's really cute.
So in other news, Star Wars 8 has started filming, which we're excited about, and Mary Ellen, I'm sure, is incredibly excited about.
Star Wars!
And they cast like a whole bunch of people, including Laura Dern and Benicio del Toro. So like,
that's awesome.
What's going on? And they cast some other girl that nobody's heard of, Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah. Is she in? Yeah, I don't know.
She's in something like super nerdy, I'm pretty sure. And honestly, like by them saying that they've cast all these characters, it really doesn't really mean anything because Star Wars has like 500 characters in every movie. Like,
I was really excited about all the casting announcements.
I know,
around too.
But Benicio del Toro could be like a pilot who has like 3 lines. It's like, go get him, like, you know, like. Okay. Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper. Like, I mean, let's be real. It doesn't really by announcing this, it doesn't mean anything.
Officially cast as that, but I know what you mean. Like. I don't care. I'm excited that they're going to be in it. Me excited.
Too. I'm also glad that they decided to like put some time into Rey because they announced they're like, we're changing the script, so Rey's more in the script. And I was like, who was in it before? Like, I was like, they're like, well, we didn't really have any you know.
Oh, yeah, they were like, well, we realized that everybody really likes Poe, Finn, and Rey, so we like are rewriting the script so they're there, and everybody was like, who was the movie?
We're like, well, what was the movie about? Like,
they were like, oh, well, we just assumed everybody would hate those 3 characters, so we were gonna get rid of them. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? I read about that stuff too, and they also were like, the second movie's gonna be really dark, and I was like, oh, so you were gonna kill off somebody,
right? I mean, they still could probably,
They might, but I mean, they were going to originally kill off Han Solo really early on, and the reason why they didn't was because everybody loved him so much.
Yeah, but I think
he was supposed to die in the second Star Wars movie.
I think the difference here, though, is that like none of those actors want to leave, or Harrison Ford was done by the second movie.
Get me out of here for like 30 years.
And then they finally did. He got his victory.
Victory.
Oh my God.
He fucking deserves to go. He hates Star Wars. I feel bad for him that like he is the face of Star Wars, like still. Like he did an announcement thing where he was like announcing the Disneyland Star Wars Land shit that they're making.
Oh my God.
And they had Harrison Ford host it, and he was like, I'm so honored to be part of Star Wars. And I was like, Harrison, I'm so sorry.
Dude, it's like why is it's like Han Solo became the face of Star Wars, not Luke or Leia. Like
no, it was Han Solo, and like it's Harrison Ford who's like the least interested in doing it. It was so funny to watch him host that.
Oh my God. All right. One last thing for morning news is that there was some sort of like segment on Late Night 8 with Seth Meyers.
I didn't watch this, but it's probably good.
It's okay. It's a Game of Thrones parody where they invite Melisandre to a baby shower, and she's just like, she's kind of like us during a baby shower where she's like sitting there in the corner and like, yeah, and she's like, beware of the creatures in the night who will kill your children, like. And she gives her like the
actress that they cast.
It was her. I think it was her, wasn't it?
Her?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, that's a thing now. Like now they just have people reprise their actual roles in a comedy sense. So
that's fine. That's completely fine with me.
And it's cute. She gives the parents a little sword that rattles. So
that's great. Like a rattle, but it's a sword.
Yeah, and
give more babies swords.
I would suggest going to see it. I don't really want to talk about it much. I just want to say it was funny. It was a good watch. I feel like it's relevant to our taste, even though I'm sort of over Game of Thrones, but
I'm over Game of Thrones, but Melisandre is still pretty cool.
She is pretty cool. All right, so we got reader mail.
Again, yay. From our 2 readers.
None of them are from Mary Ellen, even though I specifically requested that she send me something. So who knows? Maybe she'll send me at the last second. Wow,
we actually have reader mail from like other people.
Yep. We have one. Well, we actually have one. It's from James, and he wants to state that he's really enjoying the show. It's super fun to watch.
Yay!
Thank you. And he wants to know which Pokemon game is our favorite, because I think we were talking about Pokemon during the Pokemon 20 thing.
I think we've talked about this before, or at least like I've talked about this before.
There's a lot of great games of the originals. I mean, I always had Red. Red was the first one.
I had all of the Game Boy ones. I had Yellow.
Did you have Red, Blue, and Yellow?
I did, which was
oh my God, you're nerdier than me.
I had all of them because my grandma bought them for me for Christmas in like successive years, and like didn't understand that they were all the same game.
Whatever.
Well, more or less,
you could trade with yourself.
Yeah, so I would just play all of them. I just played all of them.
I mean, at least you only wasted a Master Ball and a Ditto once. So
okay, Ryan and I both had this shitty ass story where we both. Okay, this was like before we were friends. We were like 12. Ryan and I became friends when we were like 12 and 13.
Okay.
So it wasn't that long before we were friends, but slightly before we were friends. Ryan and I both played Pokemon, and we both got the Master Ball, and you get this speech from the Master Ball person being like, don't use the Master Ball.
You can only use it one time, and it captures whatever you throw it at.
Important Pokemon, because you're supposed to fucking save it from you at the end of the game. Spoilers. But I didn't know that. I was just like, oh, okay, cool. It's a really strong Pokeball. Got it. And then like like an hour later, I found this Ditto. And I thought it was the coolest fucking thing.
I was like, Ditto, it can be any Pokemon whatsoever.
It can turn into any Pokemon. It has the powers of every Pokemon. This has to
gotta
be what I use my Master Ball on.
We used our Master Ball on a character that's literally a piece of gum.
Yes. And the Ditto isn't a good Pokemon,
no,
FYI.
It's like a terrible Pokemon.
It's really bad. It can imitate other Pokemon, but that doesn't mean it has the powers of every Pokemon. But that's what I thought it had. So anyway, I used my fucking Master Ball on a Ditto, and then later, I like shamefully admitted that to you. I was like, you're not going to believe how stupid this is, Ryan, but like one time I had to like restart my entire game because I wasted the Master Ball, and you were like, I wasted mine in a Ditto, and I was like, We got freaked out.
This is like, we have hive mind. It's weird. Like,
I know.
it's
This
weird
is why
that we're
we're
that
friends.
similar. Like, nobody else would do that.
Anyway, my favorite game is probably Pokemon Yellow because that's the game where I wasted my Master Ball on a Ditto. And I don't know, I just have good memories. I of it.
I really loved Pokemon Red. I played that one the most. I played Pokemon Snap a lot. And of the newer generation,
Pokemon Snap is pretty fun. It's
it
pretty
is
stupid.
it is stupid, and like, but and at the time I was like, this is stupid. But then I played it like repeatedly for 20 years, so I guess it's not that stupid.
Or it still is.
It probably still is.
Like, actually, that logic doesn't.
No, it doesn't make any sense. The new generation of Pokemon, I really enjoyed the new ones, Pokemon X and Y, because I felt like it really went back to the roots of the old Pokemon, and every Pokemon was in it. So I was like, this is something
kind of sad that I like didn't care as much. Like, I installed Pokemon X and Y or whatever it was. I guess I picked one.
It was good. It was fun, and like, trade worldwide.
I pretty much like played it for a few hours, and then I was like, all right, I got it. Like, that was like my experience with it. I was like, I get it.
I'm still playing it. I like that one.
I don't know why. I just couldn't. I think it's because I don't have infinite free time anymore.
Right.
And like, I was thinking about how much time I spent on Pokemon as a kid, and I was like, I feel like I did this. You know what I mean? Like, I spent so much time on that shit.
I mean, same here, but like, it's great for somebody like me who has OCD, and it's like, it's a very repetitive,
and
I have to get all of them and like have them ordered by number.
That's cute though.
So, and then I got to keep an actual written log of them. So,
oh my god, do you do that?
I used to. I actually don't. I trained myself not to do that anymore because I was like, this is too much.
That's so good though. I shouldn't laugh at you. It's good. It's fine.
I love the original show, but sometimes I'll watch some of the newer episodes too when I have time.
Yeah, Ryan and I are really into the TV show.
I'm back when Team Rocket was cool.
We used to watch it together. Well, not together.
Well, I mean, this is back. This is what like
we also did watch it together. We would like watch the Pokemon movies and shit on sleepovers, and we were too old to be doing it.
Okay, that was like probably 6 years ago.
Well, but also we did it in high school. We would like have sleepovers and not drink or do anything cool, but like watch the Pokemon.
No, we'd have some juice and like some Oreos and think we were being crazy. So
we did that. We were huge nerds. Anyway.
So that's our reader mail. It was about Pokemon, which is a good question for us.
Pokemon is awesome. Pokemon forever. Pokemon 20.
Pokemon 20.
Tell me about Rugrats.
Yay! Rugrats. Okay, so first of all, I'm rewatching the series, and it's something I've been wanting to do for years, and I was kind of like, I wish I could just watch all the episodes and then write about them, but I don't have fucking time for that, so I'm just watching them. And Rugrats is still great, and the reason why I started rewatching it again is because it was on Netflix. They had the Rugrats and Thornberrys movie, which I'd never seen, and I was like, I thought it was great because, in watching that movie, I was really relating to the adults a lot. And so then I started going back and watching the show, and it's really one of those shows that's like super smart. It's so smart because as a kid, you really relate to the kids so much and like their adventures and the way you see the world as a kid. And then as an adult, you like become this sort of like neurotic person, which is what all of them are. And then suddenly you're relating to the adults. So now I've gone through this journey where I've been able to relate to every single character on that show, you know? And I'm sure when I'm 60,
it's really the story of Ryan's life. Guys.
Yeah, no, but it's really great because it's like it's great writing. It's really good writing that both kids and adults can watch. The animation is trippy as hell. It does slightly like animation that you've never seen before or after then, and all the characters are really sort of like before their time because this was like the 90s and like they have some obvious like gay characters on there,
but you didn't know at the time because I don't remember any of that.
Okay, so like I mean there's the kids, you know, you got Tommy, Phil and Lil and Chucky and Angelica's the bitch.
Yeah.
She's also the only person that can talk to both the adults and the children, right, which doesn't make any sort of sense, but whatever. Like,
it always made sense to me. I always assumed that it was like she had learned how to speak and the other kids hadn't yet.
Well, yeah, but then how does she talk?
How do they talk to each other?
Like,
yeah,
I know, right? So that's where it's weird. And you know, it's like the kids are really interesting because they keep on going on these adventures and they see things the same way that we probably saw the world at the time because even though our imaginations are pretty active now, back then, like they'd go into the sandbox and then suddenly they're like in the desert. And like, that's exactly the kind of shit we would have done.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. And the parents who I really relate to now, it's like, they're all like, none of the parents on that show are like typical parents that you would see on any other show, especially back then, like 30 years ago, because like you have like Stu and Dee Dee, which is Tommy's parents, and Tommy's mom is sort of like, she's a little neurotic and like crazy and OCD and stuff like that. And Tommy's father is an inventor, stay-at-home dad. So like he's not really like the moneymaker of the business of the family, and he kind of takes on a lot of the mom responsibilities. There's Chucky's dad, and they don't really say what happened to his mother, but their mother is dead, and they both have like severe PTSD from it. Like, it's like really traumatic. There's Phil and Dill's parents, which I'm blanking on their names right now, but Betty and Lou, I think, and they're like bearded. They're both super gay, and if they're not super gay, then it's just like super feminism and like, you know, just a little meek dude. And okay, like Betty's wearing a shirt that has like a feminist symbol on it. And whenever like her and Dee Dee are in a situation together, Dee Dee's like, I should go get Stu. And Betty's like, no, we don't need men for this. And then she like breaks a door off its hinges or whatever. And so she's really great. And then you have Angelica's parents, who like her mom is like this fucking like CEO of a company, and her dad is kind of like this like banker for her. And like, it's just crazy that they have like all these non-stereotypical things going on, like because you have like the woman who's in charge of her business, you have like a stay-at-home dad, you have gay parents, you have a parent with PTSD. It's like,
do you think that maybe they actually wanted those parents to be a gay couple, but they couldn't do it, so they were like,
I don't know. It's I mean, that's my interpretation of it, but it could also just be like, here's a woman that's like super strong and a man that's super weak. Like, you know,
right? And they were. Just
it seems to me that they've broken every other stereotype on there.
Parents are gay and they're co-parenting, but they're not like actually together.
Right. Right. I know, and it's
that's your personal headcanon.
I mean, that's, you have to watch it. It's so crazy, like the layers that are going on in this show.
Any of that.
You know, believe me, it's like, it's trippy. It's written for both adults and kids. Like, the animation is crazy. Like, I was watching an episode where Tommy gets sick and he starts sort of like, he's not, I mean, he does eventually hallucinate, but at first he like feels like the walls are getting bigger and stuff like that. I'm like, that's what it's like to have a fever. And it's like, I mean, it's sort of like really, the whole show is really genius. Like, from an adult perspective now, where I'm going back and rewatching it, I'm like, there's so much work that is going into this one show. Which
that's awesome.
Nickelodeon still does, because like I sort of go through Hulu every now and again, and I see what else is popular on Nick.
Well, we talk about Steven Universe all the time on the show, so like Cartoon Network clearly.
Yeah, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon both take on a lot of kids shows that are like really sort of like new and creative and haven't been done before. And I think that's awesome. I think it's awesome that they still managed to do that, and they've been doing it for like over 30 years at this point, you know? Mm-hmm. So Rugrats is a good show. I mean, everybody grew up with it. If you don't have the same nostalgic attachment to it, you can still appreciate it.
Everybody our age grew up with it. Not everybody.
Well, no, because like then the next generation. All right. Well, the kids now. I don't.
Start doing reruns of that? Is Rugrats like still on?
No, but when we were like adults, they started another Rugrats show, which was All Grown Up, which I haven't seen. And it's them as teenagers. And so like I know a lot of people around Courtney's age, who's like 10 years younger than us. She and all of her friends watched that instead of Rugrats. So it did carry on at least for like another generation, but I don't think there's anything now for like kids that are like 10 and under. So
yeah,
who knows? Maybe they'll revive it like Powerpuff Girls.
Hopefully not. Okay, so do we want to do Skye's Recipe Corner and then get out of here?
Yeah,
Out of here.
Who are you? Me? Picking up some Boston there?
Yeah, I did that on purpose. I thought it would laugh.
All right, so we've got some feel-good foods here. Obviously from Skye, we have her recipe corner, and she wanted to let us know that she's been doing comedy.
Yeah, that's
getting ready
really
to move
awesome.
to LA. In order to live in the city proper, you need to try to get into the entertainment in at least 3 different ways. So she gave us a joke that says, "Why is Danny Phantom so unpopular with his exes?" And then she says, "He always ghosts on them." Get it? Because she's a
Is
phantom.
that the kind of jokes that Skye is
I
gonna
hope that's what
tell
she's telling.
in her stand-up? Because I don't think that's gonna work unless the audience is us.
Oh my god.
Okay, good. I'm really glad that's going well.
And she was inspired by the thoughts of you skiing in the snow, despite it being 90 degrees where she lives. And she wanted to do a super easy recipe that's easy to bake in the oven. And so she did cream of mushroom chicken. And she says all you need is 1 1/4 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast or chicken flesh of any kind, really, and 1 can of condensed cream of mushroom soup. And then she writes in parentheses, that's it. Holy crap.
It's another one of those like 1960s cream of mushroom soup recipes, which my mom has so many of.
She says, place the chicken in a shallow 2-quart baking dish, cover chicken with soup, cover baking dish with foil, cook at 400 for 25 minutes, and serve with rice or steamed veggies. Yum. And she says the great thing about this recipe is that it allows people who aren't experts to serve chicken that is neither dry nor covered with deadly bacteria. Yes. On that note, see you next week. And if you're in LA area, stop by so you can see her at the Hi Hat in Highland Park Wednesday for the comedy open mic. And she says guaranteed fun or your money back. Parentheses, it's free.
People should go to this because I have met Skye in person and it's amazing. And you should see whatever she's going to do.
I mean, she's pretty hilarious just when she sends us this stuff. So I'm a fan.
But I don't know if anybody lives in.
Before we get to our feel good foods, we did get another James, who also submitted reader mail, sent us a recipe for impossible pie.
What?
Yeah, and
people are sending us recipes. This is so great.
I know, right?
3 readers.
Yeah. Where's Mary Ellen's best recipe?
Well, Mary Ellen doesn't send recipes. She just sends in making fun of us. That's what she does.
That's true.
Mary Ellen's mockery corner.
So in the impossible pie, there's 4 eggs, 1/2 cup of margarine, 1/2 cup of flour, 2 cups of milk, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of coconut, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. And you mix everything together in a blender, pour into a 10-inch greased pie plate, bake at 350 Fahrenheit for about 1 hour until light brown. And that's it. Then you have this impossible pie of all this crazy shit.
I think that's why it's called an impossible pie. I've heard about that before. I've never made one. I should make one.
I actually think it's great that we got 2 feel-good foods. And then what I ended up making last night, which now I'm going to talk about, is I just made cheese ravioli with broccoli and Alfredo sauce of fake chicken. And it was really good.
That sounds amazing.
It was all carbs, but it was really fucking good.
It had fake chicken in it.
And broccoli. That's true.
Yeah, you're fine. You did it. You balanced your meal. You fucking did it. You're doing better than I am. I have been away and then sick instantly as soon as I got home.
So what was your feel-good food while you were sick?
I haven't really been eating like good foods.
Okay, but that's good though, because like that's exactly what we're talking about here is like feel-good foods. Like
I'm trying to remember like if I even ate anything.
Maddie's like, I had a strict diet of mac and cheese.
I actually ate a lot of mac and cheese. I fucking love mac and cheese.
I do that too whenever I'm sick. And this last time I was sick, I stopped myself because I was like, Ryan, you need to like eat vegetables. Like
I had like so little appetite. I feel like I don't even remember eating that much food. It was extremely hard for me to get myself to eat.
See, I'm the opposite way. Whenever I get sick, I need to eat more.
But actually, that's good. That's how it should be. But I was just like, I feel like shit, and I don't want to eat anything, and I just hate the world. And like,
and then you were also sick.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt. I was in a terrible mood, and I was sick. So I don't know. I guess I'll just say like. Something that I have been doing, which I started doing a little before this show started, but I don't remember if I've talked about it on here or not, is like making really good coffees in the morning where I like steam milk in a pan. Have I told you about this before?
No, you haven't.
I like put the milk in a pan with a whisk and you put it on low heat for like 5 minutes and then you whisk it like a lot and you can like sort of steam the milk that way and like make a cappuccino. It's sort of like a fake cappuccino, a fake-accino.
A fake-accino.
Because you can't get the bubbles as small as if you had like a steamer, like in a coffee shop. But I can't afford that shit because I'm not gonna like install a fucking cappuccino machine in this house because Zach would be really upset. So that's not gonna happen.
That's a whole separate thing.
I've brought it up before. It's not a big deal. And so instead I just steam the milk and I whisk it, like you whisk it a lot. And then you just pour it over some espresso. You put the espresso in the cup first, and then you sort of prevent the steam, the fluffy part of the milk from going in first. You just pour out, like you use the whisk to prevent that fluffy part from going in. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
and
I know
let
what you're
the
talking
milk
about.
go in the cup, and then you put the like fluffed up milk on the top, and it's kind of like a cappuccino. It's really good. And I just had one this morning, and I had so many delicious cappuccinos in Switzerland, you guys.
And you know,
And I miss them.
if you're having a cold,
I have
and when
a
you
cold.
well, but yeah, when you have a cold and you have something that's like that, whether it's coffee, tea, or hot chocolate,
It's
just having
delicious.
that hot,
and like
the
having
hot steam
something
going right
delicious
into your
to wake up
nose, like
to.
I
Is
know,
so
but like
nice.
I'm thinking about like how just the since it's so hot, you get steam and it's going in right into your nostrils and like clearing out your sinuses. So that's a good call, actually.
It is a good call, but it's also like just, have something good when you're sick.
Yeah, seriously. Mac and cheese. We'll have like platters of mac and cheese. There was before we go.
Actually, not supposed to have dairy when you're sick. Like
exactly,
I
that's why I didn't do it.
But the problem is that when I'm sick, I can barely get myself to eat anything because I just feel like shit. So I'm like, anything I want to eat is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's what I do. I just have a huge glass of milk and some mac and cheese, which is exactly what you're not supposed to have. So fuck it.
Well, before we close out, I will say that when I was a teenager, we had all gone to Ren Fair together. You were there, I'm sure, and I was sick with a super bad cold. And we came back to Katie Mac's place, and she made mac and cheese, and I had my whole bowl of mac and cheese, and her and like everybody else had a little bit of theirs. And like, oh, we're kind of full, and so I just ate everyone's.
Oh my god! And then you threw up?
No, I felt great.
And you were like, actually, I'm cured now. That's weird.
I wish that still worked, but you know what? I'm not 15 anymore, so.
All right, I gotta go so 2 episodes of Agent Carter now because they keep airing 2 episodes a week.
I haven't watched any of it yet because I'm still catching up on a million other things.
Ryan. So also,
good.
Agent Carter are really short. They're only like 9 episodes, so you don't have that much to catch up on anyway.
That's true, as long as it's all still on Hulu. So
I think it will be.
Anyway, thanks for watching. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr and Facebook, all under Atomic Blue Productions.
Hell yeah!
You can find us on Twitter at Dr. Yoshi2 and Sama's Clone. Go and follow us on Facebook and all the social media places, because
Facebook,
that's where I update all the time.
The fuck you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
You got it.
You got it. And it's whatever you follow, I post to all of them. So like all day you get announcements. You won't miss anything. And we also put fun shit too. So
just
like
pick one that you like and follow
it. And you can subscribe to this channel and our home channel, which is Atomic Blue Productions. And
and if you want to send us reader mail, it's insomniacsinthemorning@gmail.com.
And we are getting reader mail, which is great. And if you want to submit us recipes too, that's also awesome, obviously. So
well, we're gonna put together a cookbook. No, we're not.
Oh my god, it would be really funny if like after Insomniacs is over, whatever that day comes, I just put together all the recipes. I'm like, and all the workout tips, and I'm like, here you go. You don't need to watch the show.
A huge book on somebody's lap, and we're like, here's a bunch of useless information.
It's our only publication. No,
who are not experts.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, also we have an audio-only version of the show on iTunes.
So oh, right, which is working now. So you can catch all the episodes there, and it sounds a lot better than it does on this stream because Google Hangouts makes it sound shitty. So,
but then you don't get to watch us. So
you're not missing much, guys.
All right, so we have to go now. Bye.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.